This was an ugly loss.
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hi, my name is Keith Pompey. I'm the co-host, one of the co-hosts of the Locked On 76ers podcast. Sorry that John Mitchell can't be here this morning. But I just want to take a couple of times, make this a short podcast and just talk to y'all about last night. Last night was rough. 76ers lost 134 to 122 in a game that got out of hand early to the Pacers. It was ugly. Now, if we're going to be real with ourselves, we could say that the Sixers were just undermanned. They looked tired. They looked fatigued. Tobias Harris didn't play. Nico Batum just showed up right before the game to play. Seriously, he wasn't going to play. Pat Bev just recently came back. It was just a lot of different guys who just was there. I mean, Jaden Springer was getting early burn. KJ Martin was getting early burn. Joel just looked out of sorts. He didn't look good at all. It was just one of those nights where everything was bad. Tyrese Maxey couldn't make an outside shot, nor could he make any stops. They kept blowing by him. It was just a bad night for the Sixers. And in a way, when you look at it, all these things that I'm saying, you would think that, okay, this wouldn't be surprising. But it was. And the reason why it was surprising is because, the Sixers typically have guys who step up and they do what they're supposed to do. And then also this Indiana Pacers team, I know they play with a lot of pace, but this was a Pacers team that lost 3 straight, and I believe they lost 5 of their last 6 games, right? And they look bad in losing those games. They didn't have Tyrese Halliburton, their best guy, best player. They do play with a lot of pace, but you felt like Maxey, Embiid, and a couple people would have something that would help out. But when they came out with that starting lineup where they had Patrick Beverley starting alongside Tyrese, I kind of felt like they were in a little trouble. Because what Pat does is he comes off the bench, he provides energy, he does a lot of other things. In that role, it got to a point like, with those two out there playing these extended minutes, who are you going to go to? Seriously, who are you going to go to? So they had Jaden Springer a little bit. Then they went to Furkan Korkmaz. And, that in the second half, third quarter. But then in the fourth quarter, they just waved the white flag. They were down 20, and that was it. So it was, to me, it was an ugly loss, extremely ugly loss for the Sixers. It was a loss that, they got to get guys healthy, and they got to play with better energy. I mean, it was to a point where you look at Joel. Joel had 31 points. He continued his streak of 30 or more games to 22. Extended that to 22. But there were times on the defensive end where he just couldn't move. It was like, well, first of all, it was one thing. The guys in the perimeter couldn't stop the guys from penetrating in. But by the time Joel got there to try to recover, they were dunking or they were doing everything. So it was just a rough one. It was a rough one all the way around for the Sixers and for Joel, for Maxey, all those guys. But I got to give props to Nico Batum because he wasn't supposed to play. And he came out and he played, and he shot 4 for 5 on overall from the field. Defensively, he wasn't his normal self. But when you look at it and you realize how he gutted it out and how he was like in the bed all day Wednesday, all day Tuesday. He didn't practice with the team on Wednesday. He didn't go to Thursday's shoot around. He just shows up right before the game and plays. Didn't know what he was going to be able to do, but he came out there and he produced and he did certain things. So for that, I got to give the guy some praise for that. I really do. I have to give him some praise, right? But But when we get back, I want to talk about Tyrese Maxey snub for USA basketball. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, John Mitchell and I, but I want to talk about it now. I spoke to Maxey. Our partners at eBay Motors have teamed up with Locked On Fantasy Basketball host Josh Lloyd to bring you some of the best fantasy picks each week, all season long. Whether you're prepping for a daily draft or scouting the waiver wire every week, we're going to provide you players that are guaranteed to fit your roster. So let's see who Josh has picked out for us this week's eBay Guaranteed Fantasy Pick of the Week. I'm going with Brandon Miller of the Charlotte Hornets. Brandon Miller should be seeing a big uptick in usage with Terry Rozier shipped out, and that makes him a must roster play in fantasy, right? Josh Lloyd of Locked On Fantasy Basketball is going to help you win your fantasy championship, and eBay Motors knows how a championship team is about each player being a perfect fit. Same with your vehicle, if right. So same with your vehicle. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you can make sure your ride stays running smoothly. Brake kits, LED headlights, roof rack, bumpers, whatever your baby needs, eBay Motors have it. And with eBay's guaranteed fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Plus, look at these prices. You're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. eBay's guaranteed fit only available to US customers. Eligible items apply. Exclusions apply. Now, the thing about Tyrese, you know, Mitch and I, we talked about it earlier, but Tyrese, was kind of snubbed for USA basketball's pool where they take 40 players, 41 players, and they have them in the pool to see, this they to work out with the team to do all this other stuff, and then what they'll do is, right, right before training camp, wherever they'll cut the list down to 12, and next thing you know, those 12 players are going to be the guys who basically play on the Olympic team. You kind of have a good idea of who those players are going to be, right? I mean, you basically have a good idea. Um, but Tyrese Maxey, when you look at him, you'll say to yourself, well, he's probably not going to make the team and the Olympic team, and he probably won't. Probably won't. There's a lot of guys ahead of him. But after a season that he's having thus far, you do expect him to at least get an invite to the thing, right? You do. But then you look at it another way, and you might say, well, some of these other guys could do other things. Like right now, he's a scorer. The other guys, maybe they have a couple scorers and like a guy like Steph Curry. But is he a traditional point guard? No, he's not. He's a scoring point guard. Well, what about on the defensive end? Is he a quality defender? Is he an elite defender? No, he's not. He's not an elite defender, right? So, with that being said, those are certain things that he needs to work on in order for him to get an invitation. Now, other people look at it like this is a snub. He should be on there. So, it is what it is. But the point guards who made it, the pool so far are Jalen Brunson, Steph Curry, De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Halliburton, Dame Lillard, Chris Paul, and Trey Young, right? And you talk to Tyrese and you ask him about it, and Tyrese is Tyrese, and he says, "Look, it mean it happened. Nuggets, right? They have their guys, and I understand it. I mean, maybe I didn't do enough. Hopefully, I can try to do some more so I can try to get recognized for the next time. Next time, but it's not going to make me upset. I mean, I understand it, and I still want them to win. So hey, right? And then later on, I asked him about motivation factor. And he says, you can use everything as motivation. And being snubbed, that's something you make on you mark on your list, of course. Right? So, you know, that um, you know, that's you know, that's what he wants. And to do to use that as motivation. So everything's gonna work out for him. Uh, you know, you feel bad for him, but at the same time, I like the way what he's talking about, how he says, "Look, this has happened, but this is what I got to do." Right? The guy, he's manning up to his responsibility. He knows what he has to do. And then I also talked to, D Melt, who they're saying is uh, game to day. Like it's funny, like they know when he's coming back, or they got an idea. They're trying to say day to day. They're saying the ramp up stage, this and that. Like he missed 9 of the last 11 games because of the injury of his back, right? And he's saying, it's day to day. I have to get my treatment rehab along with a ramp up process. So, those are the things that he has to do. And, he'll be fine, hopefully for the Sixers because they'll need him. But those are the things that he has to do. So we'll see how it works out for him. But those are the things that he has to do. I want to talk to y'all about Grammarly. When it comes to writing, Grammarly is there to support you from start to finish. For over 10 years, Grammarly has been powered by AI technology you can trust to help you across all the places where you want to write. And now Grammarly helps you even more. With one click, you can easily brainstorm, rewrite, and reply with suggestions based on your context and goals. So you can improve productivity and your teams, right? So um, here's the thing. Go to grammarly.com/locked on NBA to download for free today. That's Grammarly, GARRARLY.com/locked on NBA. Do it today, people. Definitely do it today. Tomorrow is going to be the rematch. We're going to see Joel Embiid go up against Nikola Jokic again. Now, the thing is, I guess we got to monitor Joel, how he plays. I mean, I hope that he plays just because, I would like to see the matchup. But secondly, I hope that he plays because I know if he doesn't play, the people in Denver are going to say that he's ducking Nikola Jokic again. I mean, people don't realize Joel last played there 2019. So if he doesn't play, there are going to be a bunch of people who are saying that he ducked him. I don't think that he ducked him. I think that his knee is bothering him. But if he has to tape it up or do whatever, I hope and I wish that he would uh, do that because come on, Joe, you gotta get this thing over with. Like it's one of those things where you just look at it and say, you know what, get the monkey off my back, so to speak. But the crazy part is Joel has been recently dominating these matchups between him and the Joker. So, now he may get gassed because of the high altitude and all that and whatnot. But for the most part, Joel's been handling his business against Nikola Jokic. But most of those games, at least since 2019, all of them have been at the Wells Fargo Center. So we'll see. We'll see. But look, y'all, I want to thank y'all for listening. I really do. I want to make sure y'all have a blessed day. Oh, but before I go, I want to talk to y'all about one thing before I go. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On Plus, our national shows covering every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. So after you do that, I'm telling you, make sure you come and you go to Locked On 76ers. You go to our YouTube channel, whatever. Check out some old ones, YouTube. Check out the new ones. But then also go to the regular podcast and do the same thing. But hey, I want to thank y'all for listening. I want y'all to have a blessed day. We'll be back on Monday. I may have one on Sunday. Who knows? We may have one on Sunday. But I just want to thank y'all. Peace.